Hannah Swensen is finally getting married. I bet she put it off so long because the author wanted to have the perfect wedding cake recipe. She seems rather obsessed with baking when she says things like, "You can use your favorite white cake recipe here." As if normal people have over a dozen white cake recipes to choose from just lying around their houses.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
Hannah wants a small private wedding ceremony with Ross, but her mother wants a big wedding with Mike and Norman as the groomsmen, even though it's super awkward to have your ex-boyfriends at your wedding. Mother sends Grandma Knudsen to manipulate Hannah into changing the wedding. Grandma's main argument is that everyone thinks Hannah is pregnant. I'm a little confused as to how false pregnancy rumors translate into now Hannah has to hold her mother's dream wedding. Why can't Hannah tell people she's not pregnant? That seems like it'd be a lot easier. Hannah goes along with her mother's plans even though she doesn't want to, because Hannah has no backbone. As a result, there will be no wedding planning stuff in this wedding book. I can't believe Hannah doesn't go to a food tasting and obsess over all the menu items. Hannah and her sister Michelle are participating in a dessert baking competition for the Food Network. The TV people want to film Hannah's wedding, and they're doing a special about Hannah's experiences. It sort of sounds like they've already decided Hannah will win the competition. It'd be weird for them to do so many extra things for her if she came in last place. The competition date is changed. Hannah's family members are shocked to learn Hannah didn't tell Ross right away. Why not? Doesn't she love him? They reluctantly come to the conclusion that it's okay for Hannah to delay talking to her fiancé until she sees him later tonight, because she's older and she's used to being independent. I don't like the implication that a husband should make all of his wife's decisions for her. That's sexist. Hannah gathers all her friends together so they could decide what recipes to make for the competition. The head judge is Chef Alain Duquesne, who is a mean womanizer. He only cares about flashy appearances. So for the first round, Hannah impresses him with a white chocolate souffle. In the second round, Hannah will wear her wedding veil while serving wedding cake. Everyone agrees this doesn't count as manipulating the judges, which is wrong. Hannah is clearly trying to cheat. Pretending it's all just showbiz doesn't make it not cheating. Hannah asks Mike and Norman to be in the wedding. Mike's okay with it, but Norman's pretty mad. He complains loudly, and as we know from other books, Norman's kind of a pushover. So when Hannah starts crying, Norman instantly regrets his actions and never says a mean word again. Ross surprises Hannah by spending huge amounts of money on her trip to New York. I'm talking limousine rides, luxury airport service, and the most expensive hotel room. Ross, it's only a 2-day trip. You don't need to spend more money on it than on the wedding. The baking competition goes well, as the judges are nothing but nice to Hannah. Hannah makes friends with all the other competitors, except Gloria, because Gloria is wearing a short skirt. Can you believe it? Only a villain would wear skimpy clothes while cooking. Gloria proves herself to be a villain by sabotaging the competition. She gives a competitor the wrong advice, and she steals a recipe. The judges don't notice that 2 people use the exact same recipe. I thought these judges were supposed to be professionals, but I guess not. Hannah wins the first round because she offered the judges a choice of 2 different sauces, while Gloria did not. Gloria made cake. Is cake normally served with your choice of sauces? Also, the second round is the cake round, so Gloria makes cake 2 nights in a row. It's not a good idea on her part. Since Hannah won the first round, the competition is moved to her hometown of Lake Eden. Everybody treats her like a big celebrity, and she wows the judges in the second round with coffee. One judge even drinks 3 cups. That's how good the coffee is. Hannah's big secret is that her coffee is made in a percolator. They don't make percolators anymore. That's not true. Percolators are still sold in stores. Hannah must be thinking of a specific type of percolator. The next round is the cookie round. Hannah and Michelle are making butterscotch cookies, which is Chef Alain's favorite. Again, they're totally cheating. During practice, they find Chef Alain was murdered in the walk-in cooler. Michelle cries because they just lost their big advantage in the competition. Wow, Michelle, that's all you care about? The head judge is dead! The competition will probably be canceled! The culprit and the victim shared some wine together before the murder. They left their wine glasses on the kitchen counter. The end of the book reveals the culprit is the person who bought the wine last night. The hotel owner has the receipts to prove it. That's such an obvious, straightforward way of identifying the culprit, it makes you wonder why the police weren't able to solve this case. Perhaps they were fooled by the culprit's fake alibi. The culprit claims they weren't in the hotel at the time of the murder, but that is easily disproven because the back door is locked at night with a key code. Hannah decides to ignore the evidence that the culprit left at the crime scene. Instead, she searches for people with motives. Her main focus is the two women who visited the victim's hotel room on the night of the murder. They are a contestant and Lisa's Aunt Nancy. Another suspect is one of the judges who was in the elevator with the victim a few days ago. They didn't say anything, but it was an awkward elevator ride. That seems like a dumb reason to suspect someone of murder. Another suspect is the mayor who had an affair with Gloria. As usual for the series, everyone thinks it's funny that Mayor Bascombe is forced to buy his wife expensive gifts whenever she learns he cheated on her. This is the worst running joke in the series. And this is a series which thinks Hannah's cat fell asleep on her pillow is a hilarious joke worth regular repetition. Surprisingly, there is no story with Hannah's cat. There's a chapter where the cat tries to eat the food that's on a TV screen, but that's it for Moish in this book. Mother has a clue about the mystery, and she torments Hannah by dragging it out as long as she possibly can, sort of like an author who's trying to meet a word count. The only time Hannah stands up to her mother is when Mother wants to make a gift registry. Hannah says gift registries are bad, and she will not have one. Hannah quickly compromises and agrees to a gift registry as long as her mother picks everything on the list. I hope Hannah checks the list first. Mother probably picked a bunch of things that Hannah doesn't want or need. The various suspects are cleared, and Hannah wins the baking competition. As a prize, she's given an expensive honeymoon. Hannah didn't plan to go on a honeymoon? Really? Please tell me she's at least figured out where she's gonna live after she's married. Maybe she and Ross can buy her dream house away from Norman. On the morning of the wedding, Hannah realizes they should have red wine at the reception. So she goes to the hotel. That's where she learns the identity of the culprit who left the wine at the crime scene. It's one of the competitors named Rodney. The victim was his secret father, who did not help raise him. Hannah escapes from Rodney by hiding in a dumpster. As a result, she shows up late to the wedding, covered in garbage. Everyone bursts into laughter at the sight. Ha ha, typical Hannah. The end. Post-book follow-up. I'm surprised at how little wedding stuff there was in this book, and how rarely Hannah's fiancé Ross appeared. Ross and Hannah should have solved the mystery together. That would have convinced me Ross is a good husband for her, instead of just this bland guy who hangs around her sometimes. Hannah makes cookies with cardamom. Ross prompts her into telling them the history of the spice, which is such an unnatural conversation I checked online. Sure enough, what Hannah says is taken directly from Wikipedia. Is that why Hannah sometimes talks like an encyclopedia? Ross's nickname for Hannah is Cookie, which is weird because in the last book it was Cupcake. Continuity. In my previous review, I complained we don't know the ages of the characters anymore. This book says Tracy's in 2nd grade. I think that means it's officially been 2 to 3 years since the first book of the series. It's not that hard to do the math, but I would still like everyone's current ages to be stated. This book follows the same pattern as other books in the series. The murder happens around the halfway point of the book, and Hannah's investigation is simply making a list of suspects, then getting their alibis. About 15 pages before the end, the surprise culprit's revealed. I'd have to check to be sure, but I think that general description fits at least half of the past 10 books. Overall, it's an okay book for the series, but it did not live up to my expectations due to the way that it ignores the wedding and Ross in favor of Hannah entering another baking competition. Then I got annoyed that, yet again, the entire investigation is irrelevant to the mystery solution because the solution is the culprit left a distinct wine bottle at the crime scene. Why didn't Hannah bother to look into that until the end of the book? I give Hannah Swensen number 19, Wedding Cake Murder, a 3 out of 10.